I'll hit the record button now. Yeah, and that provides a list of all the folks who join up. So yeah.
Because maybe that's something that you can share with me once.
Okay, sure. Yeah, let's get right into that, Nadia. You have an update about the corridor manager program.
Right. So for those who don't know me, my name is Nadia Enriquez. I work for the Puerto Rican Cultural Center in the Business Initiatives Department. And I am going to be taking over the role of North Avenue Corridor Manager. Obviously, Juan will also be part of the program as a management and supervisor. As well as Carlos Vasquez, who is my immediate supervisor. What I wanted to talk about is last week on Thursday, we finally had the onboarding of the North Avenue Corridor Manager program with Liz, with Carolyn. And so it was very, it was very educational, and now I have a better understanding of what is going to be the role as corridor manager. So some of the things that we talked about were the goals of the program, the tasks involved, timeline, and reporting of the program. Beyond also talked about the role of the urban main with the managers, which is a resource that we are really looking forward to, because it would be a little bit of, they will be kind of training us, capacity building, where they're doing capacity building for the corridor manager, so we can develop that sense of community and like a commercial corridor manager. So I think like there's going to be a lot that we are going to be able to do with them. So that's something that is positive. And then the other thing is that, the city has some new partnerships that are going to be kind of providing resources to the different corridors. So as we go along, the city continues to make partnerships that will support the different corridors in Chicago. So that's something that we look forward to, learning about, because it would give us a little bit of more flexibility about the things that we want to do in our corridor, and especially because we have several projects that we would love for all of them to happen. So we're still in the process of deciding which one is going to be first, but that doesn't mean that there are no other resources available that might come in the future. So just wanted to mention that. And then the other thing is that the RFQ, like release for us, I think the deadline will be or not the deadline, the release will be hopefully in February. That's something that it hasn't been decided, but I just wanted to mention that we have some time because we know that we were not chosen for the August or November one. And so hopefully we have to do a little bit of advocacy so we're selected for February. But that will give us some time to kind of gather as a community, and then kind of analyze our projects, and so we can have a consensus, so what to concentrate on first. So I just wanted to give that update, and I will be kind of developing some type of communication channel for the stakeholders, so we can like talk about updates, and probably some type of chat channel that would give us like right on time updates. So I will be trying to figure out which system I'm going to use, and then I'll be sharing that with the stakeholders. And that's all. Thank you.
Thanks, Nadia. Yeah, I look forward to working with you as well. I'm glad that program is kind of launching now, and we can move forward in concert together.
And one more thing, one of the things that was discussed or I was informed is that in the next roundtables, I'm going to be able to do it jointly with Mike. And so we can put in the agenda things that the community wants to discuss during the roundtables. So I think that that's very positive to work, together on that.
Okay, great. So a couple quick updates to some city programs worth mentioning. This is a DCASE grant. This is not my area of expertise, but I thought a colleague of mine proposed this at another meeting, and I thought it'd be good to make you guys aware of some upcoming deadlines on the 1st to get grants in for individual artist program with DCASE, and you can find more information at the website below. But a chance for artists in the community or people or to get some funding to do their valuable work and kind of create a sense of place and community within North Avenue and Humboldt Park more generally. And I think more pressing is this Performance Artist Relief Program, which his deadline is next Thursday. It's a $10,000 grant to cover some of the losses due to COVID via nonprofit performing arts venues. And you can find a link again here. So I'll share this presentation with you all. These both run out of DCASE, and I think it's just important to share that with you, that there is grants and money available both for artists to do new work and for those people struggling with the revenue decline due to COVID. And I think they'll be very valuable to take advantage of as part of your neighborhood work and just in general. But I wanted to quickly bring in a partner or organization, obviously Walmart, but they're doing some good work with a health program and clinic in the general neighborhood, and I thought they could share what they're doing with you all, if they're on the line.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Chini. Let me introduce myself first. Thank you for having us. My name is Chini Puru. I am a family physician by trade. I'm a Chicagoite, so my hometown is Chicago, and I currently live there as well. And I serve as the clinical operations lead for Walmart Health. Kevin, I didn't know if you want to introduce yourself.
Thank you, Dr. Cheney. Thank you, Mike. Hey, Alderman. Kevin Thompson, Walmart Government Affairs. Appreciate the opportunities to give a brief update on a new facility we're introducing in the Chicago market. So thank you.
So I'd like to talk to you guys about our 2 health centers in Walmart, as well as our Walmart health centers, as well as sort of what Walmart is doing in this space. Get advanced. So Walmart has been in the healthcare business for about 40 years with our pharmacies, and a big component of our service to the communities we serve has been around making sure that we make healthcare affordable. And we launched that about 12 years ago with our the $4 generic program that the pharmacy has. Truly successful in sort of changing the industry. In 2018 and 19, the company then made a decision to go in and really pilot, which is now a health center in Dallas, Georgia. So suburban Dallas, Georgia. Why did we pick that area? We picked that area because it has high net medical need. The primary care to physician, the patient to primary care physician ratio there is about 7,000 to 1. In the country, it's about 1,400 to 1 nationally as an average. So Walmart invested in building a state-of-the-art facility that provides primary care at transparent pricing. So affordable, transparent, high-quality healthcare. It is staffed with a primary care physician, as well as a nurse practitioner, a dentist that provides dental care, dental hygienist, techs, as well as vision center care, so audiology or optometry, and then hearing tests, so audiology. One of the salient things that Walmart really we wanted to invest in was providing affordable behavioral health access to the community. So all our centers have an LCSW that will provide counseling at 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and 1 hour increments. We also are staffed with a host of ancillary services to help our physicians physicians and other providers provide this care. So currently we have 10 locations in Georgia as well as Arkansas. And as of last Friday, we opened our first locations in Illinois. And so they're located in the Austin and Chatham neighborhoods, co-located with the Walmart supercenters there. So advance. Our mission is basically to support customers who can have a hard time affording healthcare. So if you're uninsured, there's affordable, transparent prices. If you're underinsured, same goes. And if you're insured, we will bill your insurance. We provide medical, dental, behavioral health, vision. We also have full suite of labs. So we have point of care lab on site, streps, news, urines, as well as cholesterol and other types of labs. And we can also draw blood and send it out to a partnership where we can do other expanded lab offerings. We have x-ray facilities on site. All of our x-rays are read by a board certified radiologist. And the turnaround time is at maximum about an hour, typically half an hour to 45 minutes. One of the most important things that we really wanted to invest in is the concept of community care. So all of our health centers are staffed with a community health worker who is recruited from the community, as well as their responsibility is to guide the patient. They don't have to be patients of Walmart Health. It's a free service, but also to guide our patients on community resources that enable them to get the type of things that aren't barriers to care. So for example, transportation, if they have food insecurity, if they have trouble affording their medications, our community health workers will connect the patient with resources that will help them sort of live healthier and be able to lower the access to care. The other thing, all of our health centers have a community room that the community can access for wellness and teaching classes, as well as any sort of meetings. Now, we do book those, obviously, with COVID protocols, but the room also helps us in Walmart Health provide the community with classes that are geared towards well-being, health, fitness, and disease management. So it's a state-of-the-art facility. All of the technology and everything that we've put into the facility is really something that is the best that's available in medicine today. And all of our training is geared towards, the same philosophy that Walmart has, that the customer is first, the patient is first, and it's patient and consumer centered. Happy to take any questions you guys might have. One of the things that I wanted to also add is that, particularly in the Chatham and Austin neighborhoods, we very intentionally recruited all of our staff from the community. So the vast majority of the staff at these sites is either, lives in the community, from the community, has grown up there, everybody from clinic administrators down to our providers, our dentists, our hygienists. So it's, it was very intentionally designed to mirror and understand the community that we serve.
One of the questions I have, thank you, Chini, for the presentation, and then services that you are offering. One of the questions I have is, we are, as community organizations, we always worry about, when big corporations come into the neighborhood and they establish, a health clinic like this, what happens with the little dental offices, or, the small health, or private doctors that are in the community, in terms of, it's already hard to get clients at this point in the time with the COVID. And I actually have a case from one of our clients of, we have an SBDC. One of our clients, that it's a pharmacy. They're like in the Chicago corridor. I already put them in contact with the manager over there, but they are in a situation in which, they are not able to survive right now. and it's because of, you know, part in competition with, you know, Walgreens and CVS. And so my question would be, you know, like progress is always great to have in the communities. However, I mean, I would think that our organizations would like to see a little bit more, I don't know, like support in terms of the, or, you know, like analyzing the impact that you're having on the small businesses that are already, you know, they're already in an area that is disadvantaged.
Yeah.
So this will cause, you know, an impact, a negative impact on them.
So
I would say.
yeah, no, and I can definitely speak to that because we've done analytics around it. You know, we intentionally go into medical deserts and we go into areas where people in general don't have access to healthcare. And I know there's some community healthcare offices in the area. And what we've seen actually is what we've seen in our experience in Georgia, and we're at 10 sites now, is that we're actually not taking patients away from local community hospitals or community centers. Most of the patients, the vast majority, I would say, that have actually come to us are patients that just don't engage with the healthcare system. So even if they're insured, they're underinsured, or they don't have insurance, they don't engage. You know, we have patients that come in that just don't see doctors. And the reason they're approaching us is because A, we're in a Walmart and they trust that brand. They don't traditionally trust other entities or can't afford them. And I would say this latter is the vast majority of patients. You know, when you go to a doctor's office and you are underinsured and you don't know what it's going to cost, $100, $150, $200, you don't know what the labs are going to cost, you don't know what the x-ray is going to cost. That, you know, even for people who have insurance but have to pay out of their pocket for a certain component of it, that's been their biggest barrier to accessing care. So what we're finding is we're in no way taking away from people who are already practicing medicine in the area. We're just bringing additional people into the healthcare system. And it's been substantiated by every study and analytics that we've done with each one of our clients. So.
Dr. Puluro, this is Alderman Maldonado. Where in Chicago you will be opening up the first two sites that you mentioned?
I'll let Kevin answer that. They're already open. I'll let Kevin answer you about that.
Alderman, they opened on Friday. It's at the Austin Super Center on North and Grand, and then the store in Chatham at 83rd and Stewart on the south and west sides are the two locations where there are Walmart Health facilities.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Well, thank you for the presentation. I appreciate it.
Everyone.
And if there's no other questions, we'll move on to another presentation. Oops. The new house. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. The new house competition. Folks from CAC are here, I hope.
Great. Yes. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. My name is Nicole, and I am from the Chicago Architecture Center. My colleague Kenda is also on the call. And we wanted to share with you an exciting opportunity for youth from Chicago neighborhoods to participate in this year's New House Design Competition. CAC has been running this design competition for 39 years now, and it gives young people, high school students in particular, a chance to think about and come up with solutions to real world challenges. This year, the competition is focusing on Invest Southwest neighborhoods, and in particular, we're starting with the first 3 neighborhoods to be addressed with Invest Southwest initiative. I've had a lot of practice saying that. I think you'd think I'd be better at it by now. So Austin, Auburn, Gresham, and Englewood, but of course the competition is open to students and young people from across the city. Next slide, please. This competition is really all about 21st century skills. It's called a design competition, but it's much more about engaging youth in critical thinking, creativity, communication, and collaboration. And with this year's competition, we've chosen to think about some of the things that really impact quality of life in Chicago neighborhoods. So housing, mobility, community building, open spaces, and also social impact. Next slide. So as I mentioned, the competition is open to any high school student. Typically, young people find out about this through their school and through their teachers. We also have a lot of youth participate through community-based organizations, places where they might go to after-school clubs, for example, and the competition is open to those young people as well. As I mentioned, we're really thinking about quality of life, and so we've got 5 different challenges that we're asking youth to respond to. And for each of those different challenges, the product or the project that they come up with looks a little bit different. One of the things I want to say before we dive into what these challenges are all about is that we are really focused on the design process, the thinking process that young people go through to answer these challenges. Not everybody has access to materials to build an architectural model or software to do renderings digitally, but a sketch pad, cereal boxes, whatever you have on hand, is if you can show us your process, what you went through to investigate, research, talk to community members, and think about solutions, that's what will be most valued in the jury component of this competition. So there are 5 different divisions. Architecture is focused on housing. We're asking young people to use the City of Chicago's Large Lots program to select an available lot in one of our 3 neighborhoods and design an affordable, green, family-friendly structure for people to live in. So the submission type in this instance might be an architectural model, but it's really all about those supporting artifacts that show the design process. The next division is all about mobility, getting around the city. And in this instance, we're looking for young people who are thinking about careers in construction or the trades. We're asking them to take a look at the future Auburn Gresham Healthy Lifestyle Hub and imagine that a new bus shelter was going to be installed as a part of that Healthy Lifestyle Hub. How does that happen? What are all of the steps that go from the original design idea to actually getting it built and installed? And we'd like young people to lay out how they would plan that. What does their construction management plan look like? Next slide, please. Next, we have a couple of arts-related divisions. The first one is all about visual arts, and this is about celebrating the identity of neighborhoods. So we are asking young people to select a site and then design a mural, a sculpture, some other type of long-term art installation that really celebrates that neighborhood, its past, its present, and its possible future. In this case, students might create a model or a drawing of their art installation. We don't expect to see a full-scale mural, that won't work, but we're asking them to think through that process, tell us about how they came to their decision in terms of what it looks like and where it's going to be, and show us what that might look like. The next one is graphic design, open spaces. So again, using data from the Large Lots program, select a lot, and then make some sort of a print piece, whether it's a poster or a magazine cover or I just lost the word, the infographic, to make the case for putting a community garden on that space. How do you get stakeholders sold on this idea? How do you communicate to them visually what kind of value a community garden could bring to the neighborhood by taking advantage of and keeping an open space? And then finally, the next slide. This last division is really open so that students who are pursuing any kind of subject matter can participate. So it might look like an essay, it might look like a model, it could be an art piece. It's really wide open. But in this instance, we're asking young people to select an available site, whether that's a vacant lot or a building in need of repurposing, and propose a design for a multi-purpose space that could support a farmer's market, food bank, and healthy eating classes for the community. So again, doing some of that problem solving thinking, it's not just about the final product, but about the process that a young person goes through to create the design for this healthy eating space. Next slide. So as I mentioned, this is open to any high school age student in the Chicagoland area, but we are particularly interested in getting young people from Invest Southwest neighborhoods involved. They can participate through school, they can participate on their own, through community organizations. Participation is free, and our website at newhouse@architecture.org will soon have additional resources to support students in participating, places to look for more information, ideas for how to get started, etc. So the reason we're here today is to ask for your help in getting young people and getting communities involved. One way to do that is just to share information about Newhouse. The links in this slide presentation are live, so they'll take you to our website to find out more. I also have a flyer that I can send out that has the basics. We really need your help in connecting with young people. One of the things, and I'll pause for just a minute, I didn't mention this before, it is a competition and there are prizes that go along with winners in these different categories. And those prizes are everything from monetary prizes to experiential prizes like getting to spend a day with an architect or a designer, getting to visit a site that is under construction, all the way to things like software packages for young people who are interested in design and need some tools at home to learn more. So there are exciting opportunities that come along with both participating and winning. In addition to helping us get the word out, we would love to hear from you if you have resources that could help students. So imagine that you are on this community roundtable call and you were a part of creating the quality of life plan for your neighborhood. Do you have resources that you'd like to share with students? We can help get those in their hands. Another way to get involved is to serve as a judge. The projects for the Newhouse competition aren't due until April, so we give students a long time to develop their designs and lay out their projects. We will convene a jury of community members, architects, designers, educators to review those projects at the end of April, and we're always looking for judges who would like to participate. The feedback that our jury gives to the students is really valuable and meaningful for them. Finally, if you have any questions, and I'll pause in a moment for questions right now, but you can always reach out to myself or to Kenda. These two, our names are highlighted, and so it will take you right to our emails, but you could also just go to newhouse@architecture.org, and that will get to us too. So we hope to see young people from Humboldt Park and the surrounding areas, and we're really excited to run the competition this year, closely connected to work that's happening actively in the city right now. Thank you. Any questions?
Well, like my first question would be, you know, we understand that in the Southwest, you know, you're going with the three, you know, neighborhoods, but it seems like we're always pushed back on everything now because of that. I mean, you know, we were not, you know, given the opportunity to even choose, or like, you know, the city decided these are the three cities that are going to go first. So it just feels that, you know, we're always like kind of pushed aside because we're not, you know, in the first in the row. So is there anything that you guys can do to like open it up for, you know, our quarters?
And, you know, I'll tell you the reason that we decided to narrow the competition to 3 neighborhoods. It was really about making the process more manageable for teachers that we work with, to sort of narrow the universe of all the possible projects that they could explore to a smaller geographic area, so that we could provide them with resources to support the students' learning, rather than having to provide all of the resources from across the city. On the other hand, I very much hear you that it would be great for young people to be able to produce projects specifically about their neighborhood. As we look ahead to next year, I think that's something that we need to do. I'll be honest that I am new to the CAC, as is Kenda. This is our first time running this competition, and we're figuring it out as we go. And we think that idea of youth being able to choose their neighborhood is super powerful. What we have to figure out is how can we then provide resources for neighborhoods across the city to help support the youth and the teachers. And we just weren't sure we could tackle that in our first year of doing it. That said, Kenda, I'm going to put you on the spot for just a moment. If you are still on the call, we have another program at the CAC called Teen Fellows. And that program is a 15-month program where young people from around the city engage. These students who are currently in that program, they're in, I think, their 6th month of participation with us. They're actually focusing on Humboldt Park. They're students from Humboldt Park in that cohort, and their capstone projects that they are developing right now, that's one of the neighborhoods they could choose to think about. So it might not be happening in this new house competition, but elsewhere in our programs, we are able to be a little more broad. Kenda, did you want to add anything to that?
No, I think that covers it. We definitely understand that some neighborhoods may feel that they don't get the focus, but there are so many in the Invest Southwest that it can be overbearing for all parties. So, but as Nicole did mention, we still are working on Humboldt Park. We're still working on New City. So we're still addressed as an organization of the Chicago Architect Center. We are addressing all the neighborhoods in the Invest Southwest right now because it's what's actively happening. It's just that for New House, we did specify the first 3 to kind of go along with what's actually happening in the city.
So what is the Team Fellows about?
Yep, sure. Teen Fellows is really focused on young people who think they might be interested in a career in architecture, construction, design, engineering. So they've already got a little bit of that bug saying, hi, I think this is pretty cool and I want to participate. We typically recruit a new cohort of Teen Fellows starting in January. So we'll begin recruiting for our next cohort in January 2021. The students start participation with us in the summer. So that new cohort will start with us in June of 2021. And it's this is done in partnership with Harold Washington College. So the young people during their first summer, they're with us 4 days a week. Of course, this year it was virtual. Typically it's in person. And they're splitting their time between actually taking architecture and design coursework with Harold Washington and working on real world capstone projects with the Chicago Architecture Center. As they leave the summer and then moved into the school year, and I should back up, that's a paid opportunity for the students, free for them to participate, and they receive a stipend for participating. As we move into the school year, we meet with that same cohort of students every Saturday.
I'm just listening. I don't have to, I can do whatever.
We meet with that same cohort of students every Saturday. It's still a paid position. And again, they're spending some time engaging in college coursework and some time working on real world projects with the CAC. And then finally, as they enter into their second summer, that last 3 months of participation, they're actually placed in a paid internship with an architecture, construction, or design firm. So they really build a nice set of skills that are, yes, focused on architecture and design, but really all about those 21st century skills. And they actually leave with both college credit and a portfolio that they can use as they think about their next steps for college, career, trade school, etc.
That sounds great.
I'd love to, if you want to reach out, I'd be happy to tell you more and make sure that you're connected when we get the word out for the next round of recruiting.
No, definitely. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thanks, Nicole. If there's no other questions, we'll move on to I hope is exciting portion of our conversation regarding the opportunity sites. As you know, we've taken a hard look at the Pulaski Bank building at 4000 West North Avenue and the property to the north. We just actually met with the current owners of that property. Alderman, I don't know if you're still on the line. You want to share the update, or I can? It's up to you.
Yes, we had the opportunity of meeting with the owners and Commissioner Cox. I mean, they expressed interest in selling the property and even be part of the construction team. for the future development. Obviously, we laid out the intentions of building affordable housing on the north side, vacant lots of the park, and also the possibility of bringing a cultural organization like the Latino Film Festival to be the anchor of the building. And so it was a brief, exciting meeting, and they are next steps that I think, Mike, you can speak to those.
Yeah, sure. So, we need to, gather support from you all, the Roundtable members and the community. Our commissioner and myself see this site as obviously a real prize, one that would be difficult to unlock, but one that would be transformative. Our timeline for RFPing available properties is February. That is, we're trying to keep these releases coming. We don't want to delay them. That brings that the work that we'd have to do to both identify our preferred site as a community and make that a reality. It'll take some good amount of heavy lifting between now and then. Some of that over the holidays. So, I think one of the things I was most looking forward to with this conversation today is hearing what you all had to say, because I know you guys met, or I believe you met maybe last week to kind of discuss some of your priorities and kind of what you want to see in the corridor and where we should make that investment. I know there's some competing interests, and I know there's different sites that we could look at. We did just obviously talk about the North Avenue, the Pioneer Bank site on North Avenue in Pulaski. It seems like the developer is interested, or the owner is interested in selling it and facilitating that redevelopment. So that's an exciting opportunity that we can pursue, and that if we had consensus, we would pursue for February. Among other alternatives, I think we should at least have a backup in mind. But again, I kind of want to stop talking and hear from you all, and to see if that's something you want to pursue, or what other things you might have in mind.
So I had convened the meeting, but unfortunately I was in a COVID line for about 4 hours that day. So I had turned over the meeting to William and Nadia. I know it was a overachieving goal to believe that we can reach some consensus in one meeting. But Nadia and William can, and I know Paul was there, several other stakeholders were there, right? To be able to speak to what were some of the discussions and maybe what were some of the leaning ideas.
Sure, happy to hear and take notes.
Nadia, do you want to go first?
Hold on, I'm looking for the notes. William, if you want to, here we go.
If you're ready, you can.
Yeah, William, you start off, and then folks can chime in. Yeah.
Sure. We discussed a number of things. We looked at some of the sites that were brought up in previous meetings, such as the Pioneer Bank, as well as the property at Kimball and North Avenue. And as was said here, it was a tall order. It was a tall order to
call her. Call Abby.
I'm gonna have to turn that mic off, whomever is on. So we went through those. We debated those sites. We also talked about coming to a consensus around not only one site but 2 sites, and really thinking clearly about 2 different things. You have the bank property, which would take many years to come into reality, as well as the fact that we do have shovel-ready projects within the corridor, such as Hispanic Housing's property at 1535 North Pulaski. So we had a nice rigorous discussion on the sites. We haven't come to a consensus on which sites or which sites, but definitely we debated the Pioneer Bank, the empty lots on North and Kimball, as well as going instead of one site, 2 sites, including Hispanic Housing's 1535 shovel-ready project for affordable senior housing. Nadia, is that right?
You're on mute, Nadia.
Yeah, that's correct. Thank you, William. So we, at this point, we need to meet again and then go over, you know, the options and how we're going to work it out. And one thing that is the position of the Puerto Rican Cultural Center is that we would like to, you know, see how we can get not one project, but you know, 2 if it's possible. So whether that is, you know, with part of city support or maybe some private funding, that's something that we want to see if we can achieve.
Well, I can say this is Roberto Maldonado. I'm in full support of for the city to support 2 projects rather than just one. I'm sure that this project on the Old Pioneer Bank will be less costly than some of the other projects that we have been shown at these meetings on the south side of the city of Chicago as part of this initiative. And so I hope that the department would be open to consider 2, because the additional senior building next to the existing senior building that we have on the corner of Pulaski and North Avenue, it would be very much welcome for the senior community that we have in our ward and in our surrounding neighborhoods, to the extent that we can maximize the project-based allocation in that building, contrary to what we have on the corner, and that it will emulate what's going to happen at 1201, which we're going to have a 50% project-based allocation, which is very, it's a peace of mind for the renters, paying only 30% of their income, regardless of their income. When you have affordable housing, but not project-based, seniors do experience almost annual rent increases that it reaches a point that is no longer become affordable to the seniors. That has been the experience that I have observed among many of my residents in my ward, and I don't want to repeat itself at that location again. But I will be in full support for that development to move forward with those caveats. I have to tell you that the lot on, I don't know if you are thinking on the northeast corner of Kimball and North Avenue, the first 3 lots are already moving forward with a development there. They are,
Yeah.
It's owned by the Dunkin' Donuts operators across the street, and they're gonna build there a facility with drive-through, which they need today to survive. The other lots further east, which are about 5, those are for sale. So that's but I support the recommendations of the working group to the extent that the North Avenue and Pulaski is one of them, and definitely I support Paul's development with the caveats that I mentioned.
Yeah, I would say if I think for me, if it's possible, right, to do 2 priority areas, I think that we need to stick adapting Pulaski intersection, right? So that would both be I don't know who's unmuted and where all that sound is coming.
Yeah, that sounds like Paul with his New Yorican Bronx accent.
Oh, I said Paul's on mute. It's not him. It's like someone has a television on or something.
Yeah, you can also submit your tax related. Sorry, everyone else looks muted. It's a mystery to me. I'm trying to find the culprit.
Okay.
Yeah.
But for me, I think that, Mike, if we can think about strategically how we focus on the Pioneer Bank and then the shovel-ready property that Paul has with Hispanic housing, and really how we create a comprehensive plan to move forward, I think we should begin whatever process. Wow, I don't know who is it. We should begin whatever process would allow us to do so. I know in terms of, so there's, I believe, some agreeability, right, on sites in terms of us wanting some investment at Pioneer Bank, right? And then being able to really think about how we move forward with this shovel-ready property on Pulaski with Paul. I think there needs to be some further conversations on our end in terms of like, what does programming look like at these sites? We know that there's going to be some affordable housing at Paul's site that we know is needed in the community. That's without question. We have to find some agreeability and really get on the same page about what we envision at Pioneer Bank. I think that the last meeting, there wasn't really a final conversation on, all right, what's the vision there? I think there's a lot of ideas, and we have to find a way to negotiate what can come first, and right, like who's going to take up space, etc.
Right.
But let me just say something about the vacant lots north of Pioneer Bank. We have always said that we want affordable housing there, and it would be all affordable housing project-based allocation. So I think that we all agree that that's something that we need in the ward for working families, and we cannot build enough to satisfy the need, and also at the same time trying to put a break on the fast pacing process of gentrification that's going around us in this ward.
May I say something?
Yeah,
I think,
and then Paul, because I know Paul's been trying. I see him.
I'll let Paul talk first.
Oh, go ahead, William. Go ahead.
Well, this is about something Paul brought up in our meeting, and I thought this was really good. When thinking, when you're creating projects on such a massive scale as the Pioneer Bank in that empty lot behind it, you have to put financing, like layers of financing together to make it all happen, right? And thinking of some of the ideas that we have out there, we have like the Latino Theater Alliance. We have the possibility of moving the bank into the main space. I mean, the library into the main space. You get library funding, city funding. You get the cultural arts piece, you get a separate funding. You have the affordable housing piece, you get a separate form of funding. So I think like when we discuss the different ideas of what we want in there, I would love to continue to keep in mind the different layers of funding and how we could get what we would want, what the community wants in there, but also keeping that funding piece in mind. And Paul can speak to that.
Yeah, thank you, William.
Yeah, am I on now?
Yep.
Oh, okay, thank you. Yeah, no, I was, William, you took the words out of my mouth. I mean, the vacant lots will, it's sort of, straightforward what you're going to build there, it's affordable housing one way or the other. But the Pioneer Bank building is a white elephant. It is sort of what it's almost like a church, it functions like what it was built to do. And it has very gracious tall ceilings and all of that. But, the question is, there was discussion about a library, and then there was a discussion about this Latino Film Festival, the Alliance. And then the question is related to those uses, whether the Alliance has some funding to, acquire the property, fix it up, operate, in time, or whether the city is allocating resources to build new libraries nowadays at a time where there's, substantial, budget difficulties, if you will. So having a sense about that component of it, other than the vacant lots where there would be housing built, I think is important, because you almost, want to bring this online together, but that's going to be a sort of logistical challenge.
Yeah. Mike, a question in terms of investment into Pioneer Bank, if that is a building that can be sold to us to make this vision a reality, what type of funding are we looking at to be able to realize some of these projects within the property?
Primarily TIF funding. If it's affordable housing, we can utilize, our partners in housing through LIHTC grants, or however terminized, or however they're thought of in their capacity. Housing. Again, those, as Paul knows, those grants are competitive, and often don't. It's a process to get those secured. So I think we're really, we're looking at a TIF funded project with whatever alternative sources. You talked about CHA or a library. If we can bring those into the play, that's going to be conversations with our other agencies within the city and what resources they have and how they want to allocate them. I think the minute we start bringing in the different departments and bureaus, the conversation gets a little bit harder because everyone has their own competing priorities and stuff as well. So of what we can control, it is TIF.
Okay.
Yeah.
May I say something about the TIF? I looked at the TIF map, and we have a little issue that the TIF only goes up to the alley of the Pioneer Bank. It doesn't go onto the 1600 block of Pulaski. So it would have to be amended if we were able to access TIF funding for a planned development. Is that true?
Well, the commissioner has said that should this be the property selected, that it would be annexed to the TIF. Otherwise, it makes it almost impossible. I just want to say something about the possibilities of usage for Pioneer Bank. I know that you, Bill, have brought up in the years past, the possibility of relocating the library there, that is further west on close to Costner and North Avenue into that facility. We also spoke at these meetings of how attractive it would be within the whole component of the cultural element in creating this North Avenue corridor by bringing a cultural institution that could become a big anchor in setting the stage and the tone of the other types of commercial developments that we may want along that stretch, that corridor. Because as I said before, I will fight to the end any elements that will give the most minimal symbols of gentrification being brought inside because of this opportunity that will arise here. And by bringing a cultural institution like the Latino Film Festival or Latino Art Theater Company, that will set more or less the cultural filter that could be embraced in whatever commercial developments we can bring along those lines. And it would be easier to shut down any elements forces that might want to come and try to gentrify this area, because that it's close to all the very, very gentrified areas, and we really have to protect it with all of our soul and hearts.
Yeah, and then for folks that are not familiar, the Latino Film Festival Collective has many members, right? Urban Theater Company is a member of that collective. Free Street is a member of that collective. All of these Puerto Rican and Latino ran theater companies that have been able to garner support and funding through funders, through private sectors, through the city. And so it's not like we're saying Latino Film Festival. People may understand that as one entity, but they're not. They're a collective with many participating organizations.
And I just wanted to also add that, yes, it is true that most likely they may not have the resources to take over that building and retrofit it, but the commissioner said that they can become part of the RFP and one of the partners in whoever the end developer would be. They could be a consistent partner in all those RFP packages. So because that would be very symbolic in terms of what we want to do, and it may be less demanding financially on them to be able to be part of this. So I thought that statement by the commissioner in one of our meetings was very revealing to me, at least, to have a better understanding of how they can fit in the overall development that we want to bring to this area.
So maybe like the last question is, what do you need us to have concretely agreed on in order to begin the RFP process for February?
So it seems to me that there is enough interest in the Pioneer Bank site for me to start doing some of the preliminary work on the city's back end. I mean, again, there's a private owner involved. So, I think we need to come to some sort of agreement with them before we start this, just to have some assurances that they're going to work with us.
Mm-hmm.
So we would start with that. But I just want to say that, through this RFP process in other communities, one of the main functions of the consultant that we bring in to help assist in this design and visioning process is presenting alternatives. And not just presenting them and saying that here's a pretty picture, this is what it could be, but here are the alternatives, here's how much they cost, these are the programming things that could go in here in scenario A, B, or C, these are how much they cost, right? So, and that process is a collaborative process with you all.
Okay.
So as long as there's enough general support for Pioneer Bank to say that we should start doing some due diligence, we can take the next few months to work and consult with the consultant when we get them on board to sort of flesh out that vision. And in the past, we've stated that we really can only fund one project, but I don't want to have rose-colored glasses on. I don't want to be too optimistic, but I don't also want to shut any doors before we really know what our programming is, our uses is, and what our funding options are. And that is something we're going to figure out together, as we move forward.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you.
It sounds good.
Who will be the consultant that you guys are going to be using?
TBD.
Yeah. There's no way to know that at this point.
Well, yeah. I mean, we've previously been using the Chicago Central Area Committee. They're providing, not for all cases, but for many of them, and at least they've been coordinating with the whole operation with other architects. That work, it needs to be sustained, obviously, for this next round, and they've been doing it pro bono. So that's sort of an ongoing discussion with the commissioner and some higher ups here at the department to make sure that they remain engaged in how we fund them. But as of right now, that's something we need to work out, and that's on my end. Make sure we secure that. But to that end,
when you say, I'm sorry, when you say like they're doing it pro bono, you mean the Chicago Central Area Committee or the architects that are involved?
Both. Yeah. They're all of the people are. It's been pro bono.
Must be nice.
Yeah. I mean, maybe not for them, but it certainly is for us.
Yeah.
But one last thing before I go, I'm gonna bring the screen back up here. This is more housekeeping. I know we're a little over time, so I don't want to keep everybody if they have other commitments. The next roundtable is December 28th. Now that's again Monday of every month. It's between Christmas and New Year. I just wanted to get a sense from you all what if that's still a good date, or if we should try to move it up before the holidays, or if there's other alternatives that you'd prefer. The 21st would be the day.
If we don't do it on the 28th, most likely it's going to have to be after the 6th on Three Kings Day, because that's a big celebration for us.
Okay.
Well, I would move it beforehand, right? If we're trying to do something for February's RFP, I wouldn't skip a meeting in December.
Yeah.
Well,
So I
if
can,
we're not gonna do the 28th, we should do before Christmas.
yeah, I was looking, so I think that Monday is the 21st. I could look to move it then.
Yeah,
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 that
I
sounds
wouldn't
good.
skip a month, not at this point. I think there's too much work.
Okay, thanks guys, appreciate it.
I gotta jump
And
to my next meeting, so. Bye.
Yeah,
Happy
take
Thanksgiving.
care.
Okay.
Bye.
All right, happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
My-
Well, go ahead, Nadia.
yeah, just remember to send me the list of the people that were in the Zoom.
Sure,
I
got it.
can, start getting them in the
Yep,
list.
will do.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Take care, everybody.
You too.
Oh, Mike,
Sure.
yeah, I just, this is Sam Day from Nobel Neighbors. I joined in at the very end of your meeting. I apologize. Oh, Bill, I see you there also. I've been battling to get onto the internet and finally made it, but I apologize for not coming sooner. I hope it was a productive meeting.
And I'm also here too, Sam, Venus Jackson.
Oh, good, good. Yeah. I just wanted to speak in favor of the Pioneer Bank project and so forth. And I would have been happy to attend, but I've been spending a very enjoyable hour with Xfinity trying to get my internet connection reestablished. So I've been, it was hard to tear myself. Well, there's few things more enjoyable than that, I think. So
Yeah, no, you're right. There isn't. I love calling Comcast.
Anyway,
no, we had a good conversation. We're going to move forward with some uncertainty in terms of what Pioneer Bank is certainly priority, but understanding as well that there's a Hispanic housing project also an option, and we're going to use the next few months to vet those ideas a little bit more and hopefully engage in the new year with a consultant and an architectural design team who can sort of take us through development scenarios and pick a preferred alternative as part of an eventual RFP. So that's in a nutshell what the plan is going forward.
okay, thanks.
Yep. All right, thank you, everybody.
Have a happy holidays.
Thanks
a lot.
Everybody.
We'll see you.